Final rapture sign. Millions of animals are acting strange. Why would animals move in a circle without brakes? This question is bouncing through the heads of everyone after watching the video that took the internet by storm. This video shows animals from different locations moving in circles. Science justifies this behavior with a disease, but do you think it could be the reason, or is there any sign hidden in this movement of animals? In this video, we will see why animals from different places are acting weird. Let's find out if there's any psychological behavior, disease, or sign from God behind the strange behavior of animals. Stay tuned for more until the end. Do you think these animals are trying to warn us? To find all the answers, let's see what this video is about and what it indicates. The baffling behavior of sheep. People all across the world were perplexed by the video, which was released on Twitter earlier this month. A farm in Inner Mongolia is depicted in the video, which was published by the Chinese state-run People's Daily, with dozens of sheep traveling almost perfectly in a circular pattern. Not only sheep, but the majority of animals are observed exhibiting the same behavior. Other animals are behaving similarly. One of the behaviors was captured on camera on the Kola Peninsula in northern Russia, where a herd of reindeer was seen spiraling around. Similar behavior was observed in several fish, orcas, and ants while they were in Chile, in the river of the Pukan commune. The science explaining about this. Scientists have always had explanations for everything, and this time they also put forward a theory that explains the abnormal behavior of animals. They said that animals are showing this behavior because of listeriosis. Listeriosis, the circling disease. Listeriosis is a serious infection caused by the germ Listeria monocytogenes. The disease can attack many animals, but is most common in cows, goats, and sheep. Serious neurologic symptoms, including loss of balance, circling, and strange body spasms, are the most prevalent infected animal symptoms. Additionally, common symptoms include fever, appetite loss, and a drop in activity. Listeriosis can cause death within 24 to 48 hours of symptoms. Contradictory part. Now, this raises the question, if animals are affected by listeriosis, then why didn't they die? The most shocking part is that they weren't even sick. Orcas, horses, sheep, and fish continued moving for 5 days without a break. So what's the reason now behind the abnormal behavior? Another theory by science. Now, science offers another theory to explain this abnormal behavior. They said animals are locked in their pens for a long time, and this causes them to move in circles. But what about fish and ants? They don't live in pens, so why are they showing this behavior? When this wasn't enough, they said it's also feasible that the animals are using this activity to communicate or build social bonds. For instance, it is well known that horses use circular movements to establish dominance within their herd. Ants may communicate the location of a food supply or other resource by acting in this manner. Orcas may engage in this action to create social bonds with one another or to find their place in the group. After all, this scientist said, despite the speculations that surround this behavior, it's crucial to remember that the precise reason for the animal's peculiar actions is yet unknown. In conclusion, science was unable to explain this behavior of animals. Ultimate knowledge. From this, we can say that science doesn't always have the right answer and is unable to explain all phenomena because only God has ultimate knowledge. In the Bible, God says, "Because the Lord bestows insight, knowledge, and understanding, they flow from His lips." This tells us that some matters are only explained by the knowledge that the Lord has. Noah's time. This doesn't make sense that animals decided one day to walk in circles. There has to be some reason. To understand this bizarre behavior of animals, let's go back in time. The last time animals showed this same behavior was in Noah's time. People in Noah's day probably wondered why the animals behaved strangely and moved in pairs as we do now. All of the animals arrived on the ark in pairs, male and female, during Noah's day, as it is mentioned in the Bible. Even if Noah and other humans had tried, they would not have been able to control such a large number of animals. Hence, they were not the ones who led the animals to the ark. This was done by God. Genesis 7:11 and 12. In Genesis it says, "All the fountains in the great deep were broken up on the same day, which was in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month. At the same time, the windows of heaven were also opened. A rain stayed on earth for 40 days and 40 nights. Explanation. This means the water was so powerful during the 150-day flood that it covered all mountains and completely wiped out all life on earth. Since that big flood, there has never been another instance of such devastation. The warning of God. Like that big flood, animals were never recorded until now. This shows that this could be a warning from God. People will give many conspiracy theories and scientific reasons to justify this behavior of animals. However, if you think deeply, you will notice there is a sign of God in this act, as it says in Act 2:19. Also, I'll show signs on the ground below, as well as wonders in the sky above, like blood, fire, and smoke vapor. It means that God will create signs so we could notice. Luke 21:25 through 28. The sun, moon, and stars will all show signs. Nations on earth will be distressed and bewildered by the roaring and tossing of the sea. People will tremble in fear as they wait for what will happen to the world, because the heavenly bodies will be shaken. They will witness the Son of Man arriving at that time in a cloud, carrying immense power and majesty. When these things start to happen, you should get up and elevate your heads, because your time of redemption is almost here. Explanation. The verses of Luke talk about the indications that God will give to let people know that rapture is close. Science might not be able to explain this, but the Bible has many verses that explain the circling of animals and other strange things happening on earth. This situation speaks of the second coming of Christ's church. Peter 3:3 and 4. You might have heard people saying this behavior isn't related to the rapture, and there's no way rapture will happen. Peter talks about these people in these verses. Above all, you must comprehend that during the final days, mockers will appear and ask, where is this coming from that he promised? Rapture is close. All the signs that are mentioned in the Bible are happening, but we might not be able to see them. However, in reality, signs are occurring, and people are justifying these signs through science. The signs of the rapture. The beast and the system of the Antichrist is the biggest sign of rapture, and we can all see it happening by turning men into women and women into males through science, by building a factory full of artificial wombs where children will be born. They are utilizing science to obstruct the course of events. In the name of technological development, they are also developing chips that will be required to implant into our bodies. But we know that this is the work of the beast, because wars are rumored to be coming. There is famine and pestilence throughout the world. The global economy is in freefall, and new diseases are spreading rapidly. Ignoring rapture signs. Christians see the sign of rapture and should believe in the second coming of Christ also. Matthew warns us about this, and God asks his believers to not be among those people who deny the signs of rapture. We must also watch and pray and take heed not to fall, because we can no longer deny that these strange and mysterious things happening around the world are bringing us closer to the rapture and the second coming of Lord Jesus Christ. Christians can prepare for these terrible times by holding fast to faith and keeping God's commandments. Even after trying so hard, scientists are unable to explain the abnormal behavior of animals, and only the verses of the Bible can explain this situation. These signs tell us that rapture is close. Do you have any theory to explain this behavior of animals? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.